Hi, I'm Veronica Vance. Coming up, we go to the Crocker House Museum for a cemetery tour, sample the local brews at the Sherwood Brewery, and then we head to the heart of downtown for some tasty Italian at Angelina, so stay tuned.
Production funding for this program was made possible by the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, driving tourism growth in Metro Detroit since 1896. More information is available at visitdetroit.com.
If you're looking for a really unique tour, then we've got just the thing for you. It's here in Mount Clemens, and it's the Crocker House Museum Cemetery Walk. Now, the day starts out with a funeral tea, then you head over to the Crocker House Museum, you get to tour an actual wake there, then you end up here at the Clinton Grove Cemetery, where they've got actors portraying the dearly departed. Now, this is not a scary event, it's simply a fascinating one. So Kim, explain to me, this is a really unique concept, a cemetery walk.
It is, perhaps it sounds strange, but you wouldn't believe the response we have to this. And why? Because it's the most fun you could ever have of learning local history. It's brought to life.
So the tour starts out with a funeral tea?
Yep, the funeral tea, all the foods are reminiscent of food served at wakes of various cultures.
So then after the funeral tea, the first stop is the Crocker House Museum?
Yep, you'd come to the Crocker House. The Crocker House is set for a wake to the 1880s. So you walk in the door, it looks like a house of that era, what you would expect for a wake. From the Crocker House Museum, they go to the cemetery with a guide.
What's the cemetery where they go to?
The cemetery is Clinton Grove Cemetery. And we do encourage families to bring their kids because it takes the fear out of the cemetery. And it really shows them that the cemetery is a place of history, it's a place of art. I really think it's a good experience for kids.
Now, the first part of the cemetery walk is optional, but if you opt for it, it includes a funeral tea, which is served here at the Presbyterian Church, just down the road from the Crocker House Museum.
This was your invitation to a wake. It's a molasses caraway biscuit. It has the initial of the deceased inscribed into it, and the dark grapes were favored because of the purple color. And this is one of the colors of mourning. So this is an 1860s dress here, solid black. This fabric, the panels on it is called crepe. It's a crinkled silk. And this was referred to as the fabric of woe.
So after the funeral tea, the first stop is the Crocker House Museum, and we are going to head inside and listen to Kim talk about some of the Victorian era wake customs.
You're in the formal parlor now, and the formal parlor is set as you would have seen it in the 1880s, really in most of the Victorian era, even well after the turn of the century, when funerals were done in the home. This I replicated from an actual obituary from the 1860s. Sending flowers, you were doing a favor to mask odor. This also represented their belief in the afterlife.
So even the dollhouse is decorated like for a wake?
In mourning, absolutely. They would have the wreath on the front door and the bunting all around the home. And there is a little coffin inside because they are having a wake.
Just coming here for a visit any time of the year, you can see they've really paid attention to detail in recreating a house from the late 1800s. And as part of the tour, you also can come downstairs and get some cider and donuts. I'm going to enjoy this before I head out to the cemetery. Roxy, we've taken the bus from the Crocker House Museum. We've ended up here at the Clinton Grove Cemetery. Now what happens?
Well, then we take the group and we go to several different stations, and at each plot, the dead people come alive. Wow. And yeah, and they speak, and they tell us all about themselves and about Mount Clemens and about the area and what happened in their lives. And it is so interesting. You learn so much. I mean, I've learned so much about the Bath City.
Hi, I was Chief Michael Smith, and this was our 1923 Arns Fox fire engine.
I'm George Crocker from the Crocker House, and these are my 3 wives.
Yes, I'm Cecilia Tarleton Crocker. I'm Harriet Steele Crocker.
And I'm Catherine Lee Dickinson Crocker.
We've got a Frenchman here who became a village trustee of Mount Clemens. Oui, oui, here he goes.
Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour.
Bonjour!
My name is Charles Mosier. As you may have surmised, I was born in France, moved to Mount Clemens. Then in 1859, I became a village trustee. In January of 1865, the Mount Clemens Salt Company was formed, and I bought 5% of the company's stock.
So here we are with the sheriff of Mount Clemens. I heard he was pretty corrupt, but we're about to hear his story right now.
A drop of water would make you feel better. I'd like to welcome you all here. Good afternoon. How many of you folks are from Macomb County here? Well, that's more than it was back when I was sheriff in 1921 and 22. Thousands and thousands of people came here to stay in the dozens and dozens of boarding houses. Imagine a 500-room hotel right here in Mount Clemens. I believe that you need to be accommodating. You want these paying guests to stay here and spend a lot of money, you have to provide for them. And I figure if you relax the law just a little bit, as long as no one gets hurt, everybody wins.
So remember, the Crocker House Museum Cemetery Walk only happens once a year. It's the first Saturday of every October. Reservations fill up quick, and it's definitely something to mark your calendars for. You've heard of the Sherwood Forest? Well, we've got the Sherwood Brewery. They're in Shelby Township on Hayes, just north of M59. They're a microbrewery, a winery, and they even make their own soda pop. And we are going to sample some of these local flavors. Well, Ray, so you guys are making your own beer, wine, soda pop here. Tell me about Sherwood Breweries.
Sherwood Brewery, we're a microbrewery that opened up in 2006. We're also a small winemaker and a small restaurant pub. We make all of our own beer, all of our own wine, all of our own soda. We don't have any Coke or Pepsi products. We also make a small selection of food. We have pizzas, burgers, salads, sandwiches, all made in-house. We try to do as much as we can from scratch. You know, in the summer we might have 2 to 3 different wheat beers. In the winter we're going to have more dark beers, stouts and porters, maybe a couple at a time. And then everything in between, seasonal beers like Oktoberfest or Maibach.
And I see you've got kids in here too. I would imagine that the soda pop that you make here is a big draw.
We wanted to make it exciting for everybody that came in. So instead of just having root beer, sometimes we'll have like a mango bubblegum soda.
Well, and it's really big in here too. I love the ceiling, that open look, all painted.
Yeah, and, you know, everything's kind of grown over the years. We started off very sparse, almost no decoration. Now customers bring in beer bottles for us to put on the wall. In a couple of years, and it's growing.
Yeah. Well, can I see where all the magic happens?
Sure. So this is the brew house, and from here, like, we've got the ground up grain or the grist, and then we add that into the mash tun up here. We mix it by hand, we load it in by hand and mix it where we have hot water waiting for it, and we add more hot water, and we have it at a set temperature where we'll get the grain or the enzymes that are naturally present in the malt to activate and break down the proteins, the starches, and the beta-glucans. And then we'll move it over into the kettle where we'll cook the beer. And that's also where we add all the hops. Once we get all the extract into the kettle, we'll cook it generally for at least an hour. Typically our beers will boil for at least 75 minutes. When it's done boiling, we'll whirlpool it in that same vessel. Once it's whirlpooled, we'll run it through a series of chillers, one that utilizes fresh water. And we'll move it into our fermenters, which are the 4 tanks over here. And alcohol is a byproduct of the fermentation process.
What's going on in here right now? What are you making
Right
today?
now we're making an amber ale. This is kind of a brief rundown. It's not everything that we have available right now, but kind of a brief selection of everything. For the sodas, we've got our blue raspberry soda. This is our diet cherry cream. And then this is our cream soda. On the wines, this is a Citrus Oasis. It's a white wine. Symphony, which is an American-grown grape. This is a white Zinfandel. We call it Paper Heart. And then this is Red Mosquito, which is a Pinot Noir Burgundy-style wine. On the beer side, we've got our Alaskan Sister Wit, which is a Belgian-style white ale. We've got our Abbeyversary, which just came out, but it's a malty, higher alcohol beer. And then over here we've got our brown ale, an American-style brown ale. And then Entire Buzz Honey Porter, which is a darker beer. And this one we use a little bit of honey in there.
We'll start with Blue Lips, right? Yes, that would draw the kids in. That's
definitely
sweet. Very sweet.
The sodas are very sweet. We use Michigan beet sugar.
It's really, really very good. Okay, so this is the cream soda. This was my favorite when I was little. That's good. That's very good. And now, shall we move on to the wine?
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're starting with the sweet white.
Yep, it's a Mango Citrus Symphony, which is Symphony's a white wine from California.
Very smooth.
Off dry, not semi-sweet. So
what does off dry mean exactly?
Just barely sweet. So it's totally not fermented out.
Oh, it's not.
Whereas semi-sweet will be a little bit sweeter. This just comes across as not dry. Do you generally like Pinot Noir?
Yeah.
That's a smooth red wine.
Yeah.
It's not heavily oaked.
Oh, that's like fruity.
The Wit's like a fruitier wheat beer.
Okay.
You get some orange peel in it. We use fresh oranges. So we squeeze the orange juice right into the kettle and then put the orange peel in.
Okay. I love that.
This is the Abbeyversary. That's kind of a play on words for it. So we make it for our anniversary. It's Abbey style, but we're not allowed to call it a Belgian Abbey ale.
I like that. Now, what do I taste in this one?
You'll probably get some of the hop aroma.
Okay, yeah.
The finish, it's got very much a Belgian yeast character in the finich. A little bit of spice. This is our Cedar Rock Brown Ale. It's a very malty brown ale.
Okay, so
still very crisp and drinkable, and a little more hop character than an English brown ale would have.
That's good.
And then this is going to be our heavier beer. This is just made with a little bit of a chocolate malt and a little bit of a malt from Belgium called Coffee Kiln, which gives it that coffee aroma.
Yeah. I like that. You know, I was expecting it to be really heavy, but it's not that heavy.
And it's not overly bitter.
No.
Comes off very smooth.
Okay, so this is so unique.
Well, we got 3 different ice creams here. This is a mint chocolate chip cream soda. This is Jolly Orchard apple wine ice cream, and then we have our hazelnut porter ice cream.
And these actually have alcohol in them, so you have to be 21 to order these two, right?
Yep. Kids can order the soda ice cream, but adults have
mint chocolate chip cream soda ice cream. That's good. Jolly Orchard apple wine.
It's like a green apple Riesling if you use that.
This is nice and creamy.
You get like an apple flavor from it.
Yeah.
We've done that with caramel as well, more flavor. And that's usually the beer is the most popular by far.
Yeah, that's very good.
Anywhere you like.
Okay. All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Thanks for coming.
And as you've seen, we have discovered Sherwood Breweries, and now you can come out and discover all these great local flavors for yourself. There are plenty of things to see and do in Metro Detroit, and our calendar of events is up next to point you in the right direction. Zombie attire is encouraged for Adventure Park's Glow Night, and Northville's Heritage Festival celebrates the Victorian era. Explore historic Detroit sites on 2 wheels, then revisit out-of-production cars at the Orphan Car Show. Woodward becomes Detroit's nighttime exhibition of art and light, and the Magic Stick hosts the inaugural Motor City Comic Festival. Creativity abounds at Ferndale's DIY Street Fair and Eastern Market After Dark, along with the Detroit Design Festival. To learn of any changes, log on to visitdetroit.com or call 1-800-DETROIT. You know those cozy Italian restaurants that you see in the movies? You know the kind with the great locations, the fabulous city views, and the warm, welcoming atmosphere? Well, we have one of those Italian restaurants right here in downtown Detroit, Angelina Italian Bistro. We're in the old Madison Theater?
The old Madison Theater, and it's right on the corner of Broadway and Grand Circus Park, right across the street from the Detroit Opera House, Comerica Park, down the street from the Fox, and we're right on the People Mover. So anywhere that the People Mover goes, people can get to us, or come here for dinner and go there. So
it's just easy access,
yes,
right in the heart of it all.
absolutely.
And you guys have just had rave reviews of your food as well.
It's nice to hear not just the reviews from the press, but when people come in and say, I've had a fantastic time, I'm taking a stack of cards, I'm emailing all my friends, it's really nice.
You've also mentioned you've got a lot of local Detroit touches in here. Can
Absolutely.
we go kind of take a peek at some of those?
We wanted people to remember what the building was, and that was the Madison Theater. That's a painting from a 1928 photo.
Oh, it's a painting. It actually looks like an actual photograph.
Yes.
So this again is the Antipasta
Yeah,
bar.
we call it the Antipasta Bar. I mean, we wanted an open kitchen. If you wanted to, you could be on the firing line here. We make all our pasta from scratch, our pizza from scratch. We smoke our own fish, cure our own meats. We do have people that come in. I want to sit at the Antipasta Bar. I want to see what's going on in the kitchen.
So you've got a very nice, spacious dining room here.
Yes, we seat about 100 people. The bar, in addition, seats about 30.
Okay.
And then we have a little private dining room that we can get about 15 people in.
Well, Tom, on the note of talking about the food, it's really got my mouth watering to try some of it.
Excellent. Well, let's try some.
Wow, this is beautiful. I mean, presentation is such a part of eating, and
Absolutely.
this is just phenomenal.
Over here is our eggplant torre, and basically we've taken polenta. We also have a goat cheese that's layered with eggplant, and then a grilled portobello mushroom. We finish it with the bitter arugula greens and a little bit of balsamic reduction. Next here, this is our struccolo. It's a chicken and Sicilian caponata struccolo. And basically, You take zucchini squash, eggplant, olive oil, a little bit of onions, capers, olives. We've incorporated that into, with chicken, into the phyllo pastry dough. And then a little side of our sauteed vegetables, yellow and green squash. This is one of our signature dishes. It's called the La Angelina. This is an artisan salami, mortadella. This one has pistachios. That is a mousse made with bay scallops. This is a smoked salmon. And then we have the different roasted vegetables here. This is the bruschetta, Tony Soprano's favorite. Yeah. Grilled fennel, grilled asparagus, and grilled green onions here. And of course olives to go with that. These are handmade ravioli, and they're stuffed with ricotta cheese, and we put thyme, oregano, and basil. We do a white wine butter sauce with the roasted garlic and the tomatoes, and then the artichoke hearts. And then finally, this is only one of our desserts: dark chocolate, white chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate crumbles on the top, and finished with chocolate in the midleaf, and it's absolutely amazing. We also make a traditional tiramisu. She makes apple tarts and cakes, cookies, all sorts of things. Fennel has anise flavor to it, and a lot of Italians cook with it.
Yeah, and the salmon smoked right on the premises. Ooh, that's good. Rizzolo. Tony Soprano would be happy, right? Scallop mousse. This is so beautiful.
We had
that's nice. Yeah. I'm so excited to try this.
The polenta, which again is my favorite here. But the polenta, like I said, I've had polenta before, and Chef Joel's polenta is just...
That is phenomenal. That is so good. It's so light. That balsamic taste on it, that's delicious. Oh, this asparagus is phenomenal. That's better than my grilled asparagus. I think I make pretty good grilled asparagus. That's good. Cake panada. Nice. Ooh, I like the red pepper flavor. That's very good. I don't know what I would order when I came back. I'd have to say, please set me up again.
I'll let you try some of the ravioli.
Now this is all homemade. All your pasta's homemade.
Oh yes, and it's really a struggle sometimes to keep up. And he's sometimes in here 12 hours a day making pasta. And
the sauce on that is so yummy.
Again,
butter wine, you said?
Yeah,
butter
white wine, butter. And this will change.
Taste TV. This is delicious.
Hopefully that's not too big for you.
That's like a little piece of heaven. And so light. They could easily eat that whole thing because it's not that heavy. Tom, thank you so much for a fabulous meal.
You're very welcome. My pleasure.
And if you are looking for scrumptious Italian food, beautifully prepared, then look no further than Angelina Italian Bistro, right in the heart of downtown. Great views, and this says it all right here.
Things are happening in Detroit that are going to reinvent the American city.
Those of us who have been here a long time can tell you that it's never been more vibrant.
And it really represents the future, what the future can be and what the future is becoming. Let's start at 5 a.m. We have joggers that are running through our state park, that are running on the riverfront.
I kind of like that Detroit has its own vibe right now. Like, it's awesome to be Chicago and it's awesome to be New York, but we kind of have like this underdog thing going on.
Visitors come in from out of town and they absolutely adore the city of Detroit.
When they get here, what they see is different than what they've come to expect.
I've been all over the country, and downtown Detroit is as safe as anywhere I've been.
We have a lot of people, especially our generation, who are doing everything we can to build it up.
So in a way, it feels like being in a kind of lively college town in the middle of Detroit.
It's really a very compact downtown and a very exciting one because it has so much great architecture, great cultural institutions.
Lots of restaurants, coffee shops.
There's walking, there's tours to do, there's museums to see, art.
We've got Campus Martius Park, one of the best urban parks in the United States.
The DIA, the Cultural Center.
We have a farmer's market.
It's easy to get from here to Campus Martius to Greektown, just walk all over the place.
The Fox Theater, the DAC.
There is so much to do in this city, and it's not like every other city.
Come to Detroit and see for yourself.
You gotta see it to believe it. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. I'm Veronica Vance. And remember, if you would like more information on any of the places we visited, log on to visitdetroit.com. So until I see you next time, go out and explore on your own and discover the D. To learn about discounts and special offers for featured attractions, plus how to get copies of Visit Detroit magazine, click on visitdetroit.com.
Production funding for this program was made possible by the Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau, driving tourism growth in Metro Detroit since 1896. More information is available at visitdetroit.com.
Hang on, I gotta figure out how to turn it. Always something happening here. You never know what. Oh, hang on. Oh, how's that? Is that better? Keep watching it. Thank you.
Does that happen often?
No, never.
What I want to do, even to get more